Alrighty. Um. Oh. I like Howard Shore. I've listened to his stuff before. It's good. I guess maybe Spotify just knew deep down that you were listening to Howard Shore in your head. I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly shocked that none of the video game music that I listen to made it into my lists outside of like the genre stuff. Spotify Wrapped is like one of my favorite parts of December at this point. Just so I can see how unhinged my listening habits have been. This year wasn't as bad as previous years have been, but it was still a little wild. But hi, welcome in. How's it going? How are you doing today, Travis? And anyone who might be lurking, I don't know who the fuck's here. I am not awake in the slightest. I only just crawled out of bed like an hour ago. Didn't even know there were 106 genres of music. Look, I think I got like 80 something genres, which is not the worst. But I've had better years. There's so many genres. It's because you get those stupid subgenres of everything. I think I listened to like 400 and some different bands. Yeah, 470 different artists this year. But Hollow Front remained my top. Yeah, I love Spotify Wrapped. I feel like it sucks because the last, like, 2 years, I guess really the last year and a half, because I worked the first 6 months of the pandemic, but, the last, like, year and a half has really sucked, just because, like, I haven't been in the car nearly as much as I usually do, and that's, like, my big music listening time, although I usually just have music on in the background anyhow. I don't know. It's good. We're getting back to our ridiculous stats. Still the top 0.5% of listeners for Cosmo Sheldrake. Hey! Go us being top listeners. It also just, like, granted, I don't know if it takes into consideration what you listen to, like, offline. I don't do a ton of offline listening, but occasionally. But obviously it doesn't, like, track, like, any of the stuff that I, like, actually own, because I've got a whole tub of vinyl over here that I listen to pretty regularly. Obviously you can't track that. But it's still, Spotify is my main way of listening. It's great. But yeah, we're gonna play more. That's a great segue. Just literally drop the last conversation, move on. No, I want to talk more music, but also want to get this started. Gonna do more My Lovely Daughter today. Definitely didn't forget about them yesterday. I have barely been sleeping. I think I've gotten like 2.5 hours the last couple of nights. Like in total for the last couple of days. So I'm, like, running on fumes here. Yeah, speaking of Twisted Sisters, we got some lovely daughters! That's a good one. That's a good one. Travis, you got this. We're gonna do more My Lovely Daughter. I have framed the window a little differently. And I don't necessarily know that I like how it looks. But this is what we're gonna do for now. I am gonna make y'all a little bigger. Because I want to be able to see everything, but I also want to keep chat up. High five! High five! I like high fives. High five! Oh no. What was I doing? I was gonna turn the music down in-game, because it's a little loud. Oh, come back, window. Is that okay, or is that too quiet? Is that good? The game gets loud at weird points. We'll roll with it. We'll fix it as we need to. We did do a grip it and rip it before we officially started. I will probably need a second soda before the end of this stream, so don't worry if you missed it. What were we doing? Who do we have? We got Linny. We got Linny the Rock Lady. She is sad. Right? I do love Linny. We got Fall Guys, who is also sad and horrifying. We got Sanderella, who's also sad. We've oops all sadded it. We do got Koba, who is fearful, which is great in comparison. We were saying what, at level 4 we were gonna do a murder on him? At least we're not angry. We did have oops all angry for a little bit there, that is true. Looks like Koba's gonna be next on the chopping block, which is unfortunate because I love our little scarecrow buddy. We should hang out with someone. Whose affection is the lowest right now? That is something that we'll need to check as soon as we go into town. I hope we can. We should be able to. 187. 250. 250. They've just come into the world. They don't know nothing. Sanderella needs us to hang out with her. We can do that. Yeah, let's go hang out with some. Oh, look at him. Aww. You're in my favorite book! Thank you, Daddy. You're welcome, baby. Oh, no. Also, I've been thinking about doing our drawing thing. Moving the drawing stuff from Mirror Layers over to MS Paint, but only using the 4 colors. Still limit ourselves as far as palette is concerned. But having to, like, exit out of the game that we're playing just to launch a different game, just to relaunch the other game is annoying. I don't want to say it's difficult, it's just annoying. So, as a heads up, we might try that out. Alright, I think we've done everything that we need to do. I still like doing the whole, like, yeah, 4 colors, no eraser. We'll still keep the things, like, the challenges implemented in it. I'll give myself a very tiny brush. We'll do, like, the pen brush or whatever, but we'll only use red, black, blue, or green. And I'm not allowed to erase anything. I think that's okay. I think that's acceptable. It'll also be easier for me to save the pictures, and be able to print them out without getting any of, like, you know, because I'm having to screenshot them from the game. It's a lot less work post-editing to, like, get rid of, like, background stuff. So, yeah. Just as a heads up. No mistakes, only happy accidents. Is that what we're calling it? Is that what we're calling it? Also, hey, Fruity, how's it going? Welcome in. I think we have done everything that we need to do. We do got some chocolate that we could give someone. I think that's only good for angry folks. But Koba's not doing too great. I'm gonna give the chocolate to them anyway. Oh, never mind. That was a horrible gift. Are anger and fear on the opposite sides of their little flow chart? Did I fuck that up? Yeah.
Tinsara is raiding with a party of 12. Kaysh and the gang welcome you.
Hello, Fred. Oh. Travis tries to pull it up, but Moobot says, no, I'm already doing it. Not Moobot, Streamlabs. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Raiders. Hello, Emmy. How is everything going? How are y'all doing? How was The Legend of Dragoon? How did it go? How were things? Let me hop on over here. I think most of you know who I am, but if you don't, boy, do I look like garbage today. Hey, Light, do you want to do your job? For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Kayshurrr. I'm an LGBTQ+, a horror and mystery streamer. Play lots of spooky shit here. It's great. We are an 18+ chat. Just heads up. If anybody here is under 18, you gotta get But yeah, we're playing some My Lovely Daughter Day. We're gonna make some homunculi daughters, and then maybe do a murder on them. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We offer content warnings for every single game that we play, so if you do need those, our lovely mod Travis, Blown Apart, has pulled that up for you. Otherwise, you can pull it up at any point during the game with !CW. And if you're ever interested in the games that we are playing, !Game Link will pull up the game link for it, so you can wishlist it, share it with your friends, or purchase it for yourself. Dragoon was fun. Good! 2 boss fights. And made new friends. Nice! Wonderful. I'm glad it went so well. Yeah. But hi, welcome in everyone. If you've been streaming for a little while, I think, Sarah. I don't know, I haven't been up for very long, but assumably any amount of time streaming is a long time to stream. If you need to get up, get some food, stretch your legs, get some water, take care of some other stuff, go ahead and do that. We'll be here for a good long while. We just started streaming not too long ago, so I'll be here for at least a couple hours. So if you feel like coming back and hanging out with us, we'll be here. But yeah, thank you for the raid, Sarah. We appreciate it. There you go. Thank you, Travis, for getting the synopsis out there. In which case, I'm not gonna talk about it, because you just did it. We do got a rotting lady in the bed. It's our daughter! So let us... Like I said, I think we've done everything that we need to do. We've done our request, so we'll get some money that way. We do need to get more... Speaking of our rotting daughter, we do need to get more... preservative balm for her. There is a name redemption for the daughters. 420 points if you wanna name one of our daughters. We got a couple left on the list. And it's gonna be great. Ah, you're a lifesaver! May the Celestials bless you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Not me forgetting how to do things. It's fine. Sadness. We got lots of sad ladies. Let's go. Let's get Fall Guys in there. What do you need? Mid-quality meat? I'm pretty sure I got that. Oh. I mean, I usually expect to make a mistake, but it's fine. I got people here who will tell me that it's not set up right, and that's great. This is fine. Sadness. We gotta find jobs for all of our ladies, but they don't have to be, but it's helpful if the job aligns with their... I don't remember the word that they used to describe it, but essentially like what their base stat is, which is emotions. It's great. This is anger. That's not as fantastic. Everybody wants a joyful child, and I don't have any joyful children. Affinity, thank you. I knew it was like an A word, but I couldn't remember for the life of me what it was. Let's get some more preservative balm. I do want to get this mirror, but that's so much. Thanks for stopping in, Emmy. Have a good day at work. I love you too. Take your time, Sarah. We'll be here for a good long while. Food and self-care are important, though. So we need 1,500 for the Mirror of Mimicry. We need 1,500 for our 5th room, which I think is the last room we can have. It doesn't look like we can get water just yet, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's fill back up on items, because I like to have 6 of everything. We should buy some items for our sweeties. Sweeties for our sweeties. Maybe we'll just do a couple of these. items that bring up their affection with us. Because some of them aren't doing too hot. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sadness. Cinderella, get in there. That's fear. That's still joy. That's also joy. Why don't you understand that I don't have any joyful children? Please. Game. Please. Fear? I got a sad lady. Will that work? How much money do we have? 352 gold. Alright, that's not bad. I want to start... Like I said, I do want to start saving up our money for some of those upgrades so we can get another room so we can have 5 homunculi at any given time. That would be great. Yeah, take my mid-quality meat. This is fine. How many more until we can get... Sweet! After this one, we'll be able to take 2 requests. Fantastic. Arya, how are you doing? You're at 82. We can wait one more time before we put some more preservative balm on ya. Let's go check on our homunculi. Linny's doing great at level 2. Fall Guys is at level 4. Cinderella's at level 4. Kolba's at level 5. So we've got... Fall Guys and Cinderella are probably going to be up next as far as, like, who we sacrifice. I love you, Koba. I'm sorry I gotta do this. Sad face. Jesus, buddy. Her rag body attracts many beetles. Not wanting to take the chance of any insects spreading to the other rooms of the house, he takes a torch and burns her to ashes. Faust is kind of an asshole. I think we all kind of figured that out anyway, but wowee. Okay, we got 2 more weeks until the full moon, in which case we can try this ritual again. I should look at which combinations we've done already. All wood, all clay, all meat. Yeah, right. Def not dad of the year. 100% not dad of the year. 2 meat, 1 clay. All metal. 2 clay, 1 meat. 2 wood, 1 clay. 2 clay, 1 wood. 2 clay, 1 metal. 2 metal, 1 clay. 2 wood, 1 metal. Have we done 2 metal and a wood? Because that would probably be our next combination. 2 metal and a wood, right? Let's do that. 2 metal and a wood. And I think we said we were gonna start saving like our mid and high quality stuff for requests, and also just to make those higher level homunculi later. I love her. I love her. And her name is gonna be Bad Ben! This is our 13th one! Good. Great. Great. This is great. There's Bad Ben. Knife daughter. God damn it. I love her. She's perfect. She's absolutely perfect. Knife daughter is the pinnacle of perfection. Also, excuse me. My nose is runny. We're gonna hang out with Knife daughter because I love her. Yes, I want to spend time with Bad Ben. Yes, I want to spend time with Bad Ben. Thank you, Father. I would have never have believed that you would want to spend time with me today. You are perfect, though. Look at you. Look at you. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and give Linny a gift. Let's give Fall Guys a gift just to boost their affection a little bit. It's not ideal. This is nice, not something that will make me happy though. Well, I'm sorry. I would say I am trying. I am trying. In-game character's not trying though. Alright. Start working? It's time to go to work. I think we have all sad daughters now, though. Yeah, the fish like to do that sometimes. It's fine. Cinderella will start looking for jobs on her own. Great! You do that. High quality meat. We don't have any high quality stuff yet, do we? No fishing. No fishing. Oh, we do have one fear. Okay, that's great. Bad Ben is a fearful being. Your joy, your anger, your fear. Bad Ben, get in there. Your joy, sadness. This works. Maybe we should start waiting until high quality. Damn it, I don't have high quality ingredients. Maybe we do need to start waiting until our homunculi are a higher level before we do a murder on them. It's what, level 7? This is unfortunate. It's fine. We'll keep some of these around for a little longer. What do you want? Mid-quality iron. I have that. Pretty sure I have that. Like, fairly certain that I have that. Anger. Also anger. Your joy, and I think you're also anger. Okay, hold on a second. Let's put Fall Guys in there. No, let's not do this one, because that is less money than whichever one I was trying to find. I have too many ladies not working right now. Yeah, they'll lose, I think they still lose affection even if they're doing a job they like, but it's slower. They're more willing to do it, but they're not super fond of it. I think it's just, I think the whole child labor aspect of it is what they don't like. You know, it's that whole making the newborns work. That's kind of a big no-no. 5 more requests until I get a 3rd slot. Aria, what are you doing? You're at 70. Let's go ahead and treat you. Soon, my dear, soon we will laugh together again. We do almost have enough for another room, which is great. Since the tree parts are at least 20 years old. That's how that works, right? You just add up the age of all the parts that you make with it. Don't get you started on stone. Then it's not technically child labor, right? Right? Let's check our book. I want to see when it is that we start getting high quality stuff. I think... yeah, level 7. So we might as well wait until they're all level 7, right? So we can start getting that high quality. And then we might also start getting enough mid-quality stuff to just make higher level homunculi like immediately. So I don't think we're gonna sacrifice any this time. Oh, sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. So I think we'll do one more work week. And then hopefully we'll have a couple of level 7s next time. We can sacrifice a few of those. Try to do the infusion. And then go from there. Because we need to work on this a little bit more. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's go. Your help will never be forgotten. You looking for my husband? He went to the slum and has not come back since. Do not worry, I know you always did business with him in the past. But my husband has given that responsibility to me now. Did you kill him? Ma'am, did you kill him? As long as you pay for the work of my homunculi, it's of no concern to me what happened to your husband. Yeah, you can work there, Fall Guys, that's fine. Mid-quality clay, mid-quality iron. I'm pretty sure we have that. But we have 4 weeks to work on it anyhow. High quality, we don't have any of that. Mid-quality clay, we could probably do that because we're gonna be doing some murders here soon anyhow. Let's get Bad Ben in there. What do you hunt? Nope, there's high quality in that. Can't do it. Joy. Here's some sadness for ya. Get in there, Linny. Don't have another fearful homunculi, but that's okay. We can do this. We do need to buy more balm. But that's okay. We should be able to earn that back, like, immediately. Or pretty quickly, right? Get in there, Bad Ben! Get in there! Our sweet little knife daughter. Not at 5 gold, I'm not gonna put her there. Okay, maybe, well... Yeah. Okay, maybe we will put a sad one in for the anchor one. It's not a ton of money, though, which is the unfortunate bit. Knife daughter, are you gonna be done in time for me to put you here? Because that would be cool. Great. Get in there, Ben. I think they also get more experience if their affinity matches what the job is. So less affection is lost, more affinity is gained. Hey. Okay, well, I didn't have enough to buy the thing that I wanted to buy anyhow. That's unfortunate. Someone's knocking at the door. Should see who it is. Wait, how? What? Hello there, Faust. Who are you? Do I know you? I'm an inquisitor from the capital. More than that, you do not need to know. This is... Then what do you want? I know that you've been conducting horrifying experiments here. What the hell are you talking about? Experiments? What experiments? There's no need to act stupid. I know what you have been up to here these past few months. I wonder what would happen if the villagers discovered that you've been doing... or what you've been doing to these poor homunculi. Right? Who snitched? Who the fuck snitched? Are you threatening me? No, that's not my intention. I'm here to make you an offer. I've seen the kind of things you need for your rituals. Do my will and I will get your gold, your ingredients, and even more. I felt that there was someone watching me for a while. Could it have been? Must have been. Why have you been doing it, you stalker? Calm down, I have my reasons. I'm tasked with identifying people who are a danger to my hailed capital. I have no interest in you, so you do not have anything to worry about on that front. As I told you, with your skills, we can help each other. Help each other? See, I have a special skill set. I think this is part. So there is a DLC for the game, and I think it's. I want to say it's free. I think this is it. I think this is the free DLC. I have a special skill set. By touching someone's memento, I am able to acquire memories of that person. So you can help me to find out what is happening with me and my daughter? You read my mind, Faust. Help me and I'll be able to help you discover your past. I'll do it. I'll do anything to know what happened. I'm a man of my word and I will not promise anything that I cannot deliver. Now let us get back to business. What I want you to do is send your homunculi to certain villagers at specific times. Specific times? There will come a time when a villager will offer you an unusual job. At that time, you'll need to assign the most appropriate homunculus to steal an item for me. Why do I not simply task them when they do their usual jobs? It's not that simple. I need a remarkable memento, an item that has a special place in the villager's heart. I've already identified these mementos. I know where each of them is kept, but I cannot take them myself. I'll initiate these accidental jobs, and your task will be to assign the most appropriate homunculus to the job. Keep saying appropriate. What do you mean? Many of my homunculi should be perfect for each job. You'll understand what I mean. Each job will have a special situation. You know your homunculi's strengths and weaknesses. I'm sure that you can easily figure it out. My special friends and I will work hard to ensure the villagers offer these jobs to you. Do not waste the opportunity. For every successful task, I will reward you handsomely. And when all of my investigations here are done, I will try to find your memento. Then we will see what your past looked like. It's probably my daughter. My daughter is my memento. Enough talking. We'll meet again later when I have a task for you and your homunculus. Damn, I'm sure this deal is going to be a lot of work. Ugh, I know that he's gonna be helping me. But why do I feel that I'm being used? Because you are. I must see it as another opportunity for me. I hope you can really help. Yo. Great, we got both of those done. It is time to do a ritual, though. How is everyone? Level 5, level 6, level 5, level 4. Okay, this is fine. They're so close. I want to do a murder now. But where are you at? Won't tell me. That's fine. Let's do an infusion. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's happening. Bet your item is orb. Probably. Possibly. I'm gonna grab a soda. Hold on a second. Ouch. We're just getting the twitches again. Just the little twitchies. Not. It looked like it was all the same, so. Did this change any of this? It absolutely did not. Okay, great. You love to see it. It was an absolute waste. Welcome back. We've just done a failed infusion with our daughter. The Inquisitor has found us. And I'm trying to contemplate doing a murder again. It's fine. It's all good. I guess let's go ahead and start working again. Well, I guess we could hang out with someone. We gotta hang out with Bad Ben, because we love Bad Ben. We love Bad Ben. Thank you, Father. I would never have believed that... Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and start the work week. We've got 2 requests to turn in. Which means that we can... This is fine. We didn't do a murder this time. We can get that Mirror of Mimicry. That is what I need. Now I can proceed with my plan. Got lucky. I cannot believe you got the ingredient in time. Thanks a lot. Been guarding this town since before you came here. They should give me a badge of honor for my long service. You know, the worst part is not dealing with the exiled criminals. No, it's the natives living in the slums. They're either mindless followers of that stupid occultist or unruly gangsters. Well, what did you expect from this village? That's why they use this place to exile people. You knew that beforehand, did you not? Sorry, but I'm busy and I need to get need to get going. Go do the thing, Fall Guys. We have enough money to buy the Mirror of Mimicry. I want to get the 5th room, but I think this would be better because it increases the chance of getting more ingredients. Which means more homunculi. Oh my, you bought a magical artifact! You'll need to pray and provide an offering in order to receive its effect. Do not worry, today I will provide you with a free offering. Never hesitate to visit me if you need more. Okay. What? I think we already have one of these. We do. And we've got enough of this. I guess I just want to know what she means by an offering. Right? How much is an offering? I don't know that these are offerings. I will buy a few of these, though. I don't want to give them over to the girls just yet, but starting to stock up on presents is probably a good option as well. Especially since we can kind of rely on these to, the requests to, like, get us a little extra money. These are all high quality, though. This is a problem. Wooden meat, mid-quality. We can do that. Alright. Let's go ahead and put some of these ladies to work. Coral! Alright, alright. Alright. Coral has been added. Coral. Cinderella, go in there. That's a joyful job. Ooh, hiccups. We'll put Lenny there. It's what we call Pearl from Steven Universe. Pearl? But you gotta say it like you would, like the llamas with hats say Carl. It's great. It's great. That's a fearful job. Get back in there, Bad Ben. Yeah, keep doing the thing, Fall Guys. I like it when you just choose a job for me. That's great. If you could just continue to just always choose jobs on your own, that would be awesome. It's terrifying. And I love it so much. I love that character. Fucking Bloodborne. Bloodborne's so good. Anger. Cinderella! Great job. Great job, Cinderella. Finding all these jobs on your own. No, it's so good. It's so good. If you don't have a picture of her, I think I do somewhere on my phone, and I can share it in the Discord. We got a lot of money that week. Shopkeeper sent you Blood of the Unborn. I should take better care of my homunculus, or else it might run away. I need to make sure this artifact can help me to bring back my daughter. Wait, what do you mean? Have her homunculi run away? Guess all I need to do is pray? I'm sorry, are you implying that one of these is ready to just bolt? Is it because their affection is really low? I don't know, Bad Ben seems to be doing just fine. You're sad, so you like ice cream. Okay. Love Bad Ben here. You know what? No, I don't need to give Fall Guys anything because we're gonna do a sacrifice. Sacrifice! At first, Faust thought that he had failed to create a homunculus. To his surprise, he later found the doll wandering the house. In the end, he pushes her into the fireplace and her body is consumed by the flames. That's fine. Fall Guys was terrifying anyhow. We got low, mid, and high quality! We got 2 high quality irons. Fucking great. We destroyed Fall Guys. Good. I know that you've been waiting for it. I know that that's been something that you've been waiting for. Linny only has 1 more level to go before we'll start getting high quality from her. Same with Cinderella. Bad Ben is doing just fine. Let's hang out with Bad Ben. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good and fine. Miss Mirror Mimicry will increase the chances of getting more ingredients from each sacrifice. Remaining 1 of 4 weeks. So I have to do a sacrifice for each week? Book, game, that's a lot. You're asking a lot of me. You don't have any other requests. Great. How are you doing? We can wait 1 more week before we treat her. We do need to make another homunculi, though. Yeah, because we have a room open. I think we've done all the possible combinations that we can with the ingredients that we have at the moment. So we might just need to, like, remake some. Because we've done all of the base ingredients, right? We've done the meat and clay variants. We've done the wood and clay variants. We've done the clay and metal variants. And the wood and metal variants. So we just have to, I think we just have to, like, remake a homunculus that we've already had. The next name we have up is Big Chungus. Excuse me, Big Chungo. Because we got that 9-character limit. This is difficult. Yeah, we still don't have any water, which is unfortunate. Gerald was technically up next, but I know that we were all kind of hoping to get that, have that one be a water homunculus. And I want to, like, we need to get an anger-based homunculus, and probably another fear-based homunculus. So, Big Chungo and Porl need to be fear or anger. So I guess... Which one do we want? I'm gonna double check that we need. No, because Bad Ben is a fearful. And then we've got 2 sads. Don't want to get rid of either of these just yet. We should probably do an anger homunculus, since we haven't had one of those in a long while. So do we want mud, mummy, metal, or zombie to be Big Chungo? Metal ones are really boring looking, though. I mean, we can do a metal one. We can do a metal one. we gotta do... Just sucks because we have to make one that we've already made before, right? Guess how much... I should probably figure out what the what ingredients we need for it. Metal is obviously all metal. Mud is all clay. Um, mummy is 2 meat and a clay, and then 2 clay and a meat. Ah, come back! Clicked out of the game for a second. What do we have the most of? We have the most... We could do 2 metals and a clay, was that right? Can meet in the middle. No, 2 meats and a clay. Right. Yeah, we can do an all metal one. That'll be big chungo. Boop. This is fine. I just want to get new homunculi, that's all. There's our metal daughter, though. So thick. Big chungo. Big chungo. Alright, I can cross that name off. Yeah, I didn't... Or just, again, like I said, I am... It's gonna call for Big Chungo. I mean, I guess. I'm just annoyed because we're having to, like, make homunculi that we've already made before. But I needed that, I need an anger homunculi, so it's... Or homunculus, so it's fine. It's fine. But also, hi, Allie! I've caught them all so far. So far. We're still missing a ton of ingredients, but we don't have any other ingredients available to us just yet. So we're having to kind of like double back a little bit, which is fine. I feel the same way about the fossils with blathers, right though? Like, bud, come on. Come on. Now I'm ready for tonight. Thanks for all the ingredients. Damn it, my wife won't notice something is wrong with our accounts. Promised her that I only gamble with my personal savings, but I had to spend the store's income to cover my losses. You better find a good excuse. Can I ask you a tiny favor? Do not involve me in your family affairs! Great. Good job. Let's get Bad Ben into that sharpening, job. Let's get... No, I need you to not talk to me right now, okay? I'm trying to put my children to work, sir. Getting a good head start into that child labor nonsense. You know how it is. I guess we'll do sadness there, and then we do have an anger buddy. Put Chungo there. Yeah, how's it going? How's it going, Allie? How are you doing? I do have a high quality iron. Let's go. I don't have any water, my guy. Water is available to us. Everything is great. Let's buy 6 of those. Blood of the Unborn is 300 gold. Good God. Hold on, I have to sit up. This is ridiculous. I kind of regret buying that mirror now. I assumed it would just, like, work. Oh, Allie! Big hugs to you! I would say to tell your hormones to chill out, but they're not gonna. But that's okay. You cry if you gotta. Goodness gracious. We'll buy 3 more of those. And we do still have preservative balm on us, but I might as well purchase it now while we still have the money for it. Mid-quality meat and wood. What do we have? I forgot that I could check. I don't have any more meat. We don't have any more wood. But that's okay. Um, no, for sure. But still, sometimes even if it's because there's a bunch of other stuff going on because your hormones are being silly, it's still good to just let it out. Actually, before we put Big Chungo in there, are there any other anger jobs? No. Alright, so Bad Ben goes there. Big Chungo, you're back to lever turning. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, our next big purchase is gonna be the 5th room. I would love to have more. Oh no. I'm gonna come and beat up your headache. Good! I'm glad that the staff meeting went well. Got good folks. Good. What is this? Fear. Great. Great. We're doing well on money. This makes me happy. We got a note from Bad Ben. Bad Ben says, "I'm sorry that I cut you with my hands yesterday. You should not get too close to me. I think you should not come to my room too often. I think it will be beneficial for us both, since you will not get cut and I will have my privacy. But I love you, Bad Ben. But I love you. I've done everything for you. All you need to do is take care of me. I will, though." Gonna hang out with Bad Ben again. Thank you, Father. Okay. I am stupidly attached to Bad Ben. This is gonna be a problem. Cinderella! Hey, baby, you're at level 7 now. You know what that means. Oh. Faust likes her. She does not talk much, even though Faust always helps her move from place to place. Now that it is time to kill her, he puts the girl outside in the rain. Sand drips off her body and she soon disappears. She soon disappears. Talking is hard. My goodness. Alright, we're just gonna have a really sad... really sad soul this week. That's fine. Mistakenly ordered a shipment of wood instead of metal. Do you want to buy some? Yeah? That's 600 gold, though, but it's high quality wood. Yeah. Especially if it brings up the trust meter. Good, you're a great help. Great, you've essentially robbed me of all my money, sir. Let's go ahead and get Gerald up in this place. Let's go. Gerald is angry. Her name is Gerald. Gerald? Gerald. Gerald. Typing is hard. Farley, get away from there. That is not yours. Oh my god. I'm gonna skin that cat. Yeah, I mean, that was the point of the list. That, and it'll keep me from naming it from people who I know. Because that wouldn't go great. Here, let me name this character after you and then murder you. Oopsies. Yeah, it's Big Boy. It's Farley, it's not your food. It's the good season. It's not, though. I need him to not eat Lamia's food. Preferably. He is a seasonal drop. It's true. It's true. Only up here when it's not super hot. Farley, what did I just fucking say? Oh my god. Oh my god, this cat, though. Okay, what are we what's happening? What's going on here? We got Gerald. We got Gerald. Look at Gerald. Gerald's so angy. I've already spent too much time with my homunculi today. Well, you're a sad buddy. Take some ice cream. It's too nice. Do I really deserve this? Yes. Yes, you do. You're an angy buddy, so you get chocolate. And you're also an angy buddy, so you get chocolate. And Bad Ben is doing fine. Okay. Work time? Work time. Time to work. Let's go. How the heck do we make joyful daughters, though? This is what I need. Now I can proceed with my plan. I was still a kid, but I was there when you first came to the city. I stole a bottle of your healing potion, but it did not work. Wait, what did you do? You know what? That's fine. I'll forgive you for stealing my potion. It was useless for this village anyway. Yeah, go work there. That's fine. Mid-quality wood? I don't have that. I have high-quality wood, high-quality clay, and metal. Okay. But do I have... We got water. That's what Gerald is. Gerald's a water buddy. It's great. Yeah. It's very good. We'll see. I want to get... That's joy. Fear? Yeah. But just a plain water buddy is... I haven't, but it does keep track of them in-game. So we don't need to worry about it, which is great. At this point, I think we just need to do, like, variants of water with everything. I don't want to know how to do it. We'll figure it out. Mid-quality meat, high-quality... Okay. Okay. The only things that we haven't done so far are the water variants, and that's because we haven't had access to water until now. But it does, there is a book in-game that keeps track of your recipes. So we've been keeping an eye on that, so I make sure that I don't double up on stuff. It just hasn't been made available to us just yet. We have to purchase all of our resources through the, what am I doing? Through the merchant. Anger. Fear. Anger. That's sadness today. I appreciate the fact that some of these change, but also, I wish they didn't. This is fine for now. Sadness. Fear. Get another anger in here. You're gonna hate working here, but you gotta deal with it. We almost have enough for a 5th room, which is extremely exciting for me. Gerald! I know it's hard to make my room cold enough, and I appreciate you so much for making me comfortable. It can be a bit lonely in here, so I've been making little figures out of the ice to play with. Made a knight, a lord, and of course a clever father. Gerald! Gerald! Also, Linny's gotta die. Sorry, y'all. It's time. Bad Ben's also level 7, though. And I love Bad Ben. But we also need to make room for our new water babies. Say goodbye to Linny, everyone. Goodbye, Linny. She destroys everything with her massive stone hands. Faust does not like this behavior. When the time comes, he ties her up with a metal chain while she is sleeping and throws her into the river. Goodbye, Linny. Sadness is 100% full. That's a bit of a problem. How did the affinity work? It was if I give gifts of the same affinity? Good emotes. Villagers, memoirs. Oh, we haven't read these in a while. Because there's nothing new here. Okay. Burning a gift in the soul chamber will decrease the affinity value of the soul's corresponding affinity. Okay, so if I were to burn some ice cream, it would take it down by 100. Okay, good to know. We'll keep the sadness there for now. Linny the Second. Look at this, your monster destroyed my dolls. You have to pay for them. Ah! Hold on. Okay, so we'll have Poral will be our next, and then Linny the Second. I don't want to pay 1,000 gold, my guy. I'm about to get another room. No, we're gonna increase the affection of our homunculus. Fuck off. Are you sure? Yes. Such a disappointment coming from a man like you. Well, get fucked, my dude! Big Chungo's level 3. Gerald is also level 3. I think I'm gonna have to do a murder on Bad Ben. I think I have to do a murder on Bad Ben. I love Knife Daughter, though. I'm sorry! Faust thinks that she's the worst. He cannot touch her without getting cut, so he leads her to the furnace and melts her down. Now we can be haunted by Bad Ben. Oh no. Our beautiful baby. Our beautiful baby. But in happier news, we can make 2 new daughters. Let's just go in order, right? So we'll do 1 water, 2 wood, and then we'll do 2 water, 1 wood. Insect? Look at her! This is Poral! She's joyful! She's happy. She's a happy little bug.
Bees?
Bees! I'm gonna say Poral can wait for the next one. This is gonna be bees. This is gonna be bees. And then this 2 water, 1 wood will be Poral. I'm sorry, the opportunity came up. We had to. Yeah, that's right. Who do we got now? Another joyful! Okay, but I do kind of love her too. We'll be here. Poral, do you want it to be Poral, or do you want it to be Poral? Travis, this was your name. All caps or lowercase? Poral! Perfect. We got us some joyful daughters now. Everything is gonna be great. Actually, we have a joyful, an angry, and a sad. No, we have 2 angries and 2 joyfuls. That's a little bit of an issue, but we'll make do. We wanted her to be Thorn, though. We can always make... Look, we did have a, like, one that's more of a Thorn one. Where is she? We got the spiky one. We can always remake her and name her Thorn. We got options. I think I also just got an achievement called the Hobbyist. We have summoned 50% of all the homunculi types. Go us. Alright, it is time. Yes, let's leave for a week. Let's do the thing. You know what? Feel that we're the same. Only 50%. It's a lot of daughters, it is. Also, are you ready? Are you ready? Grip it and rip it. It did say I needed a second soda today, so here we are. Let's go. I feel that we are the same. I have my pets and you have your gals! Yeah, we're the same. That is a weird lady. Big Jungle wants to work here! Big Jungle, they don't pay you very much, though. But, you know what? If that's what you want to do, you go for it. Have fun with that. High quality iron. What do I have? I do have a high quality iron. We could do that. Get paid 550 for that. Let's go. Mid-quality meat? Don't have any. I don't have any meat. Don't got any mid-quality meat. Why was that so hard to say? We have killed all of our sad babies. It's a bit unfortunate. Let's get bees to work there. Let's get... We also don't have any fearfuls now, do we? This is a bit of a problem. Gerald can go do that. Not Portal. Not Portal. Sadness. Come on. Where are all those joyful jobs? There we go. There we go. Confirm. We do need to buy more water. Which is great. Big Chungo, get to work. I have been enjoying this game. I really like it. It's weird and cute, and the art is pretty. Ah, water! The firefighter's friend! Water makes everyone happy, apparently. Except for creatures made exclusively from water. They just get mad. It's fine. Get in there, Gerald. There are no happy jobs for my darling. That's a problem. Oops. Fear. I don't have any fears anymore! Oh. We are going to have to make one of, like, each affinity at some point. Because this is ridiculous. Alright, this next week we can officially afford a 5th room. Hi, little scarecrow. It is time to, do an infusion ritual. But we might need to do a murder before then. Right? Yeah, no, the second I do that, it's gonna be all bad. I have the greatest strength. I can do all of the labor by myself. You should tell my sisters to stay quietly at home and leave the work to me. Town is dangerous, but no one can hurt me. I can, Big Chungo. Are you hungry, Faust? Not quite. What do you need from me? Chef has received an offer that he cannot refuse. He will need a lot of help from your homunculus to fill it on time. Make sure the homunculus you choose is appropriate. He's oblivious, so he will need help keeping track of time. Need help keeping track of time. So a fearful? He needs a fearful one? We have to do a murder, don't we? Shit. But I love bees! Big Chungo's not quite at level 7, and Gerald's not at 7 yet. Gerald is at 148 out of 300. Isn't there a daughter with a shape to help chefs? Maybe. Hold on. Yes. Yes. I have lots of mid-quality stuff. We also need to do this before I forget. Okay, maybe, who do we have? Tree is a pretty speaking plant. Mud. There's more of a resemblance to walking sludge. I assume that if he says that he's like, that if the chef needs help keeping track of time, you'd want somebody who's anxious and probably going to be checking the clock all the time. That's my assumption. Otherwise, sand? Since she's an hourglass? I don't like that this Inquisitor is like, you'll be able to figure this out, and I'm just like, I won't, though? Hey, Inquisitor? Hey, Inquisitor. Help! We can make Sanderella. Well, I call her Sanderella. No, but it's specifically stated that, like, he needs help with keeping track of the time. Otherwise knives would make sense. I guess, like, I was assuming that when he said that, like, we needed specific homunculi, he was talking about, like, their affinity. But, like, their actual shape would also make sense. So I guess we need to make a sand. This is gonna be Linny the Second, I hope you know. Unless we want to name her Sanderella the Second. I don't know that Sanderella would fit, though, because Sanderella didn't even fit. Okay, but that's 2 clay and a metal, right? Shit, I do have to do a murder. Okay. I was gonna murder Big Chungo, because they're further away from level 6 than Gerald is? What am I doing? Get out of here, Big Chungo. I'm sorry, Big Chungo. We've seen this death before. This is nothing new. This is nice because this boosts some of our affinity stuff, though. What is this? Chef has received an offer that he cannot refuse. He will need a lot of help from your homunculus to fulfill it on time. Make sure the homunculus you choose is appropriate. He's oblivious, so he needs help keeping track of time. Yeah. So it was 2 clay and metal? Was that right? Oh my god. 2 clay, 1 metal. 2 clay. I could do... We can make her real good. 2 clay, 1 metal. That's all 2-star stuff. And we still have 2-star stuff left over. That's a level for sand. Ooh, Linny, 2. Happy lurking, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Alright. There's Linny the Second. So now we have 2 joyful, a sad, and an angry? Yeah. Okay. We should probably do the infusion ritual. Right? No, because fear's not quite where it needs to be. Or anger's not quite where it needs to be. That's... fine? We'll get a better feel for sadness and fear. Let's go ahead and do the ritual. Infuse. Yes, I'm sure. We can't figure it out if we don't try, right? Oh, jeez. Make it happen! Ooh. Yeah, that's all the same. That's all the same! Is it just gonna be the same? I think it is. It's unfortunate, but that has changed none of this. I think I need to get them all above 300 for it to do something different. Okay. Well, good to know that all those homunculi that we have previously killed were for nothing. Love that for us. Time to start working. Let's go. Science has occurred, and it has left us all with some extremely existential dread. Some extreme existential dread. It's fine. Not nothing good parts. Okay, alright. Fair. We did get a lot of good stuff from that. That's what I need. Now I can proceed with my plan. You know what? I lied when I said that I'm in this wretched town because of failed robbery. Don't need to tell me anything. You keep that little secret of yours to yourself. Can't do science without killing a few daughters. Oh, everyone's just telling me that they want to go work for certain things. Timekeeper. Wait, Sanderella, no! Linny, no! I did that bad. We did that bad. That's a problem. I just hope that that stays there. I hope I have all week to do this. Good on you, Allie. Props for remembering. Okay, let's put bees there, and that's a fear job. That's anger. Please. Fear. Sadness. These basically are all fear jobs. This is a problem. Do the lurk! Make it happen. Yeah, we'll put Coral there. It's not ideal, but... Okay, no, Linny. Yeah, no, that's where I want you to go. Go there. Work at that job. Good job, Linny. I am gonna buy that room upgrade. Fantastic. We also want to buy more ingredients and start purchasing more gifts so that we just have those, because they're important. We do need some more balm. That's all of our money. Fantastic. You love to see it. What do you need? High quality wood? I do have that. Confirm. Mid quality water, high quality wood. I don't have the water just yet. And I don't want to accept it if I can't guarantee that I'll have it. It's fine. It's all fine. Let's get Gerald doing some angry work. And let's get bees. Bees! Doing some joyful stuff. It's great. Sadness. Joy! Get in there, Porl! These quality iron, high quality meat. I don't have any meat. We don't got meat. That is a problem. It's fine. I don't know that she's gonna have that job done. Oh. I'm grateful that with your help, my investigation has become easier. This medal is proof of his culinary skill, and is the only thing that he takes pride in. But he's quite predictable. He only uses his cooking skill to impress the ladies. Do not think such a mindset will harm the capital. It is time to cross his name off the list. Great! Real people at me. Can you kill real people? I don't think so. Unfortunately. I should take better care of my homunculus, or else it might run away. I'm trying, my guy. There are only so many people in this town, and I think they would notice. But it's okay. Give her some candy. I guess let's do another one. Let's just try and get that up there. Where's this guy's moral line? He'll only kill things that he has created, I guess. Moral? Take this. Take this. Which, like, look. At least he's keeping it to the things that he's made, but also still not great. Hi, Lenny the Second. Would you like some ice cream? How about another thing of ice cream for you? Let's just keep them all as happy as possible. Well, not as happy as possible. That's a little excessive. Alright, what's going on here? Hey, Faust, I come bearing a new task for you. Please make it fast. There are things that I need to do. My men have made a mess at the blacksmith's place. I'm sure the old man will contact you for help. Do not fail to help him with his problem. He has stored his precious memento with his delicate metals. Make sure you send the most suitable homunculus, one that can work well around that metal. So, like, another metal one? Make sure you send the most suitable homunculus. One that can work well around that metal. Thinking, contemplating. We do have... You're at level 3. I don't want to kill Lenny just yet, but also... I kind of do... Before we do that, let's do... a 2 metal, 1 water kind of situation here, right? Let's see what that brings forth. I love it! I just realized we have no names. That's okay. This one's gonna be RU. Cause are you my mummy? Haha. Oh. Potato will be the next one. This is acceptable. You know what? We are gonna do a murder on Lenny the Second. Don't tell Travis. Don't tell Travis. Plus, this starts getting, like, some of our affinities back into where they need to be. Allie, no! That's the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. Let's do 2 water and a metal. So we can see what that does. No! Nothing! Nothing, it's fine! Don't worry about it! Mermaid! This is Potato and I love her. I love Potato. Lenny the Third for no reason. Let me just throw my pencil everywhere.
I love you, bitch.
Oh my god.
I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
I got lost in my words. This is fine. But also look at her! Potato is so happy. I don't need any more happy people though. Fuck. This is a problem. I think Poral's gonna be the next to go. Poral's level 5? This is an issue. I think we have to oh, okay, this is also a bit of an issue. Well, I'm sorry. Has everyone considered not having shitty daughters? I could get rid of bees. Do you want me to get rid of bees? I can get rid of bees. Bees just isn't gonna have as high a return on items. Also, look at this idiot. Look at this bee. I can kill bees. I'll kill bees. Look, I'll kill bees. No problem. I've killed bees. She realizes that she's gonna be killed. Anticipating it, her instincts make her fly around randomly. Faust simply sprays insect poison into her room and she slowly weakens and dies. I killed bees instead of Poral. I hope you're happy. Is this what you wanted? I've done it. Alright, I think we do have to make a... I can't think of any other... Any other type of homunculus to make for working around the metal. So just like an all-metal daughter? Again? Game, stop making me make all-metal, please. Here's Lenny the Third. Or, I'm sorry, do you want it to be... that or that? That's the question, Fruity. Which metal combos have you done? All of them. 3 fits. It fits. At this point, yeah, we've done all the metal combos, I'm pretty sure. And none of them looked like they would work. So we've got all metal. We've got sand, which was clay and metal. We've got 2 metals and a clay for stone. Our doll here was wood and 2 wood and a metal. We've got 1 wood and a metal, or 1 wood, 2 metal. And then I did the waters. 2 metal, 1 water, 1 metal, 2 waters. So I'm assuming... Guess I haven't done metals and meat, have I? Guess I haven't. Well, it's too late now. Unless we just kill Lenny the Third. I just need someone that can work with... They're not really giving me much of an option here. It's make sure you send the most suitable homunculus one that can work well around that metal. We're gonna roll with it, and the worst that happens is that it doesn't work. And then the Inquisitor gets mad at us, and we have to... And then I don't know what happens there. I think she'd be fine, but I'm also just generally concerned. Every night I vigilantly watch over the village. Usually only small things happen every now and then, but I still remember the night I saw the famous Master Warlock. I told everyone, but no one believed me. I thought I fell asleep and dreamed it. Such ungrateful bastards. The legendary of Master Warlock? I feel like I have met him. Why? This is strange. I did feel I had a close relationship to him. Yeah, right. Give him my regards the next time you see him, okay? Okay, let's... help me organize all of my scattered metals besides being strong. My helper needs to be comfortable handling delicate metallic materials. That sounds like Linny the Third. Okay. Who... Excuse me. Let's get everyone else set up the way that they need to be. Don't have any other angry beings with us at the moment, but that's okay. You can go hang out here and be sad. High quality wood, mid quality water. Don't have that just yet. That's fine. And is there any more joyful work around here? Now that I have a child that is joyful, nobody wants them. What do you need? High quality meat. Don't have that, sir. High quality water. Not just yet. What is this? Mask of Prosperity. Mystical mask that doubles the money its owner gains. Totem of Maturity. Sacred totem that can double the speed of homunculi growth. Look, I would love to get these again, but also, I know that you're gonna make me, have to, like, do more offerings to them, and I'm not about that life. Alright. Can we... Not just yet, at least. We'll wait. This is fine. Gerald, get back in there. Gerald's gonna be next. Gerald's almost at level 7. Coral! I just wanted to know if you had a job, my guy. Get in there, Portal. Earn daddy some money. Potato needs a job. Potato. What a great name. I love Potato. Oh no. It's fine. Well done, Faust. You have proven to be useful. Great. It worked. I'm actually surprised to know that the memento of the old blacksmith is his family picture. 4. There's joy, sadness, anger, and fear. He not only killed his wife, but his entire family, yet it seems he still has some guilt in his heart. Do you not think he's a threat to the capital? I'll end his investigation here. Slightly worried Lenny was gonna get Smith. We've sent metal babies over to the Smith plenty of times. Still always been a little sketchy, but you know, they've been fine so far. So far. And they never came back as horseshoes? Not yet. Not yet. Oh! I lost to a gambling mogul, and I cannot pay him. I saw your creature, or he saw your creature and wants it to be his. Can you sell her to me? I'll pay everything I have left for her. Yeah, 100%. We want one of each disposition, then leave the 5th room open for any Inquisition nonsense that we need to do. It does get rid of a daughter, but I don't get her supplies, and I don't get the ingredients for the soul that we have, but that's a shit ton of money. We're gonna do it. Oh, wow. There's no difference. It's just moving from one stupid person to another. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Don't gotta tell me twice. Just contemplating, that was all. Alright, what do we got here? It makes me happy to know that I remind you of the good times with your daughter, but I do not think you need to be so sad. No, you have many daughters, Daddy. We are all supporting you. Yeah, he'll definitely be nice. 100%. I'm sure Gerald will be fine. Still is high quality meat from the market. Need some money to buy my boss a special present. Yeah, sure. I mean, we just got a shit ton of money, so, like, let's go for it. And the more I can get these people to trust me, the better, right? Okay, so we do have Linny the Third at level 5, Potatoes at level 3. If we don't see them die, they lived happily ever after. I think 100% should not be trusting me, but at the same time, it's beneficial to me. Poral's at level 5, and RU is at level 2. So we've got a sad, a happy, we've got 2 happies, and an angry. We need a fearful, right? Yeah. But I also want to keep trying to figure out some more of these stuff. We should do metal and meats next. I mean, we're definitely, at this point, we are kind of a cop, but we're definitely a cop. I was gonna try and, rationalize that, but nah, we're shit. We're absolute shit. Okay, let's do 1 meat, 2 metal, and see what that gets us. Titanium! Why does she look like an actual person? We don't have a name. And she's joyful. We could have made it joyful this whole time. Meat! Neat! Neat. Meat. Neat meat! This is a bit of an issue, though, because we do have... I'm sorry, Portal's gotta go. Portal's gotta go. I'm sorry. Faust has had to be patient because he cannot, or she cannot stay long inside the house, needing to live in the soil most of the time. He's glad it is time to kill her. He has already prepared kerosene and burns her to ashes. Sorry, Portal. We've just got too many happy girls. Okay, so then should we try another water, or should we try the last combination of meat and metal? How's Linny? Linny's doing great. Linny's just fine. Let's do the last of the metals. It's 1 metal, 2 meat, right? Because we just did 2 metal, 1 meat. Please, game. Yeah, so 2 meat, 1 metal. Angie! She's also precious! I love her. I don't think that'll fit, but... Flame Prin! Flame Prin! It's fine. That's acceptable. I'll roll with that. Okay, so we've got a sad, an angry, a joyful, 2 joyfuls, and another angry. I need a fearful, damn it! Oh well, it's fine. This is fine. This is fine. We should be pretty close to a couple of... couple of leveled up homunculi by next time. Buttercup? Okay, hold on. Added. Thanks to the Celestials, you are back. I remember when your sludge homunculi were not useful to me. But ever since you enhanced them with hands, they have been so helpful operating my lever and lifting the heavy utensils. And they're great company because they do not talk. Sludge without hands? Why do I not remember that? I'm glad that my homunculi can help you. Do not hesitate to contact me if you need any more help. High quality wood, high quality clay. High quality wood, high quality clay. Great! I can do that for you. At 1,000 gold, I can do anything for you, sir. Okay, we got a couple of babies that we can put in there. We don't have a fearful, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We can work with this. We at least have a couple of different options now, which is extremely helpful. High quality meat, high quality iron. I do have another high quality meat and I have a high quality iron. Great. We're gonna be swimming in money here pretty quick, which is extremely exciting. We have enough water. We are a little low on iron. We're a little low on those. And we're doing alright on gifts. So I guess I could... We've got the money for it. Let's buy some of these totems, I guess, and then we can confirm if we need sacrifices for it. Candide? Candid? I mean, I'll add it. I don't know how to say it, though. Candide? There we go. Okay. Candide? No, I don't want to end the week. Add it to the list, right after Buttercup. It's gonna be great. All gonna be great, y'all. Let's get Neat in there. Oof. Oof. I don't have a fearful. Do you have a joy, though? Potato, do your thing. I love potato. No fear. No fear. Sadness? No. I do need an anger, though. Please. I'm having such a hard time keeping track of where I've already clicked game. I'm pretty sure I have mid-quality iron. Let's go. It's fine. We'll put her there for now. Need to watch Candide with you? What's it about? Give me the deeds. Shopkeeper sent you a sacrificial doll. After a long walk back home, Faust feels exhausted. He remembers his life before, when every time he returned home, his wife welcomed him with a smile. He remembers his wife's special meals and eating together with his daughter. He remembers trying to spoon-feed his daughter, but then his memory suddenly shifts. He's spoon-feeding his wife. She looks so weak. She looks so sick. As Faust wonders what is happening, the book shines brightly as though triggered by Faust's memories. I should take better care of my homunculus or they might run away. Okay, look, I am trying, buddy. Listen here. I am doing what I can. Oh. I mean, I'm here for anything that's talking about, toxic positivity. By means of extreme parody. I do enjoy me some Voltaire, honestly. You guys, please. Murderbot and Mickey added. We're all gonna be very heartbroken about Mickey getting sacrificed. Be careful when you visit town next week. Wait, is that what's gonna happen? There will be an earthquake next week, but do not be afraid. It will only happen to the watchtower. My friend has done his part to make this occur. All you need to do is make sure that you send a huge helping hand and then steal the guard's memento. Y'all! Alright, Borky and Art added. I was about to put not Mickey down because I thought that was... I was out of names, it's true. I can come up with names on the spot, though, as needed. These names are gonna be very sad, though. It's fine. It's all fine. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Your message got lost amongst all of the redemptions. And I was like, are we... We've got Mickey and not Mickey. Great. Great. It's all very good. Alright, all you need to do is make sure that you send a huge helping hand and then steal the guard's memento. A huge helping hand. For next week, we gotta do a murder then. And this upsets me. Because... that means we have to do a murder on someone here. I think we need to make our rock buddy. I keep thinking she's got a tail, but that's just her hair. This is a bit of a problem. I don't know that... RU hasn't really been leveling up very quick, has she? I think I have to do a murder on her. I'm gonna do a murder on her. As precious as she is, she's gotta go. Her skin is made from a geyser and constantly emits bubbles and smoke. Unable to simply kill her and leave the body anywhere, Faust murders the homunculus and dumps her body in the river. Poor baby. Okay. That'll help. Potato is at level 5. Meat is at level 3. Flame Print is at level 2. Linny is at level 6. I think I gotta get rid of Potato. Because we need... No, this is all a problem. I think Linny and Potato have to go. So that we can make... Hold on. First off, let's look at what the Inquisitor needed. He needed somebody with a big helping hand, which sounds like our rock buddy, right? Stone had a huge hand. Like, quite literally, a huge hand. So my assumption is that we need to make her. So that's clay and 2 metal. We can do that. There's our sad baby. This is gonna be Buttercup. Please. Please. Hands. Buttercup is gonna go there, because she's our Inquisition child, right? And then... because we've got two angries and two joyfuls. Please. Butter, sip. I'm sorry my hands don't work. Fruity. Please. Butter, QO? We're gonna sacrifice Linny the Third. I'm sorry. And we've seen her death before. Twice now. Great. And Potato's gotta go. I'm sorry, Potato, I love you. Vicnent? That can happen. I wasn't the one haranguing you about Vicnent, though. She always stays in water, so it's very hard to raise her. Faustus had his eye on her trident, and he is finally able to use it to end her life. Our poor baby. Right? That was all Emmy. That wasn't me. Okay, we just need to get... we need to sacrifice a Fearful by the end of this cycle. Which is next week. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. With this totem of maturity, I can double the rate my homunculi grow. Do it. We're gonna need that. So we need a sad and a fearful. Yeah. But I do want to start finding all these other homunculi, though. I think we should probably finish trying to figure out all the combinations, right? At this point, it's just like the water combos that we need, I think. Because we finished the metal and the meats. So we need to do... New Daughter's gonna drop, it's true. So we've done the wood combinations with water. And we've done the metal combinations with water. We've done the... we need to do meat combinations with water. So let's do 1 meat, 2 water. And hopefully that gives us a type that we need. I love her! I love her! I love her! We could name her Gerald II. We could name her Gerald II. We had Gerald earlier, but we can name her Gerald II. I know we've got lots of other names coming up. But I'm overruling. No, it's Gerald II. That was True, Gerald. No! True, Gerald. Isura? Okay, okay, and then the true. Oh god, what was she? I don't remember. She was water and meat, but okay, 2 meat, 1 water is our next one. 2 meat, 1 water. Carapace. She's pretty cute. This is gonna be Candide. I do like her. That gives us 2 fears, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, we gotta check on Arya because it's been a minute. She's doing fine. We don't have to fix her just yet. I do want to check. Okay, we've made Buttercup, who's going to be our Inquisition friend. Let's go ahead and give them all snacks. So that they like us a little more. You're Angie, so you get chocolates. You're joyful, so you get candy. You're fearful, so you get almonds. I love our little tentacle buddy. I love our little tentacle buddy. Candide also loves it. And then we're also gonna hang out with Flameprin, because she has the lowest affection at the moment. Are you throwing a fireball at us? It was fun. We should play some more. She's cute. She's very cute. They're all cute, though. Okay, we should also check our book, because it said that we had some stuff. New page just dropped! My wife has been suffering from an unknown disease this past month. My savings are insufficient to cover the medical treatment she needs. Oh, Celestials, I do not know what to do anymore. I have to take care of my wife, my poor little daughter, and my business, all at the same time. Dare I turn to witchcraft and dark magic for the sake of our lives? Maybe they can help, but only if I can find someone to teach me. Last night, the Master Warlock visited my house. His robe, smoldering eyes, and eldritch staff gave him such a mysterious look. To my utmost surprise, he offered to help me learn dark magic and forbidden alchemy. I should come to the hill alone exactly 3 days from today, if I am to accept his offer. Should I trust him? As if I have a choice. I must put an end to our suffering. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, but it is also 2 o'clock, which means it's time for us to end for right now. Which is fine and acceptable. We've done it pretty good so far. We've made a lot of progress, and we'll make some more progress on Friday with this, which is great. I'm still really enjoying this, and I hope everyone else is liking it as well. It's dark. It's not as dark as I was expecting it to be, though, to be fair. But I appreciate the fact that they had as many content warnings up on it as they did. But anywho, let's go ahead, figure out who we should raid. What friend should we go say hello to? I only have one person on right now, and that's Angry Barman. So we can go do a raid on him, or we can try and find a new friend if anybody has any recommendations or suggestions. And while people are figuring that out, there are our raid messages. I think it's been a while since we've raided Angry, though. They are playing some Grandia. I am unfamiliar with this game. But, yeah. If nobody has any suggestions, we'll go ahead and set up the raid for him. All done! No more! It looks like an old-timey PS1 RPG. We're all done, no more for today at least. If that helps at all, Allie. We'll do more on Friday. Let's go ahead and set up the raid for Angry. This seems fine. I forgot to double check with everyone, but do we want to do more Battlestar in the server? Some odd dialogue. Oh.
Thanks to
Travis.
it Odmos87 for my sub gift.
Hey! Continuing that 6-month gift sub from Allie. I forgot that she did that last month. Thanks, Allie, for the gift sub. Thanks, Travis, for continuing with the gift sub. More Star Wars. Alright, well, if you're gonna go hang out with our friend, go hang out with our friend. If not, thanks for being here. I love y'all. You're great. Take care of yourselves. We'll see y'all next time. So long, buddy!